Well, I think, you have a huge number of people in this country, Stephen, who,
Mhm.
although they've worked harder than ever, they're playing by the rules, they are
Right.
not getting ahead. Now, the American dream used to be that if you did play by the rules and you worked hard, you would do better and better economically over your lifetime, and your children would do better than you. And that was what happened in the first 3 or 4 decades after the Second World War. We created the largest middle class the world had ever seen, larger than America had ever seen. And people did better and better and better, and their children did better than they did. But that all came apart. It came
Mhm.
apart in part because of corruption, because the rules of the game changed, because you had a really a fundamental shift in the structure of the economy brought about by a few extremely wealthy people and extremely big corporations. And we can get into the details of what happened, but I think the important point for this discussion is that the Republicans effectively used this anger and frustration and disillusionment
Mm.
to go after cultural elites. The Democrats did
Yeah.
not use this anger, frustration, and disillusionment to go after the real, to me, the real culprits, which were
Mhm.
the economic elites.
Agreed. Agreed about that.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's a powerful
it
analysis.
really is interesting how the anger has been misdirected quite
Hmm.
efficiently by Republicans. They've been very, very effective at that, at, scapegoating, as I think you've talked about before.
Yeah, and the Democrats have unfortunately missed the
No, the
boat
Democrats have
there.
been the recipients of it because they seem like institutionalists and elitists at this point. And it just kind of does what the professor's talking about. All the anger just sort of rises and makes them kind of incapable of articulating a vision of a fair future for people.
And it is ironic that they're considered the elitists, but at the same time, you see them with the great celebrities. But then,
Yeah.
of course, the Republican Party, you have a cabinet full of billionaires.
Yeah.
So how's that not elitist? But, I actually wanted to address something, and I have this clip I wanted to share with you, because there had been criticism of a policy that had occurred under the Clinton administration, which is NAFTA, with regard to alienating the working class and costing jobs for blue-collar workers. So I just want to play your critique from your Coffee Klatch podcast and just have us all take a listen to it.
I was very proud to be part of the Clinton administration. I was a cabinet member of the Clinton administration, but that was an administration that embraced NAFTA and Chinese accession to the World Trade Organization and deregulated Wall Street, got rid of the basic 1930s acts that would have separated and did separate investment from commercial banking, said to Wall Street, go ahead, do whatever you want, and put antitrust and monopolization on the back burner and said, big companies, you want to merge? Go ahead. I mean, and did not actually move toward labor law change and reform.
Now, Professor Reich, we can't go back in time and undo NAFTA, but what can be done going forward? Is there any way we can fix the damage that occurred in a meaningful way, or is there just no way to put the genie back in the bottle?
Well, we can put the genie back in the bottle. In fact, I think the Trump administration, ironically, is talking about very, very large tariffs on Mexico and on Canada. Now, I'm not suggesting this is a good thing. But it certainly sort of goes back to the years before NAFTA. I think the real issue here is developing a set of policies, and I do not expect the Trump administration, filled with billionaires and planning to give them even more of a tax break, will do this. But the real issue is how to equip every American, even those without college degrees, with what they need to do well in this new economy. I don't think we need to take globalization for granted. I don't think we need to take for granted that Wall Street is going to become the center of the economy. I think that's been an extraordinarily bad thing for most workers. We should not take for granted that big companies are going to be as profitable as they are or as big as they are. They should be broken up. We can change the structure of the economy to make it an economy that works for everybody instead of working for just a handful of people at the top.